Welcome everybody to this episode of Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode, we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. It's that time of the month where we get to talk about new comics, and I'm so excited for the guests that we've brought on to talk about the latest issue of Avengers and the monumental bombshell latest issue of Thor. I have Will Rose returning to the show today, and a brand new guest on the show. Christopher Fazio is here. Fazio, I'm so sorry. So I'm craving Italian food right now. And they're going to talk about these new comics that, Avengers came out last week. Thor is still hot off the press. It's just been a really good, Will said while we were getting ready for the show, it's been a great last few weeks of comics. So Will, you want to just reintroduce people to yourself, and then Christopher, feel free to tell people about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Glad to be back. Super fun. It has been a great couple months and couple weeks of comics. Some great things have come out, and everything within the comics and TV shows, there's no shortage of things to geek out about. So yeah, as Ryan said, I'm Will Rose. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I'm a big geek, also happen to be a Lutheran pastor, also love Thor, and part of another podcast called Systematic Geekology, where we geek out on things and talk about the philosophical and theological intersections between them all. But man, as we did last time, I could talk comics all day. And so we're going to put another timer on ourselves and try to figure out how we can condense this so we're not going 3 hours. But if we go over time, y'all, just be patient with us. These are some good issues. So
oh my goodness.
Glad to be back. Glad to be here.
And we're always glad to have you. Christopher, what about you, man?
It's nice to meet all you guys. Thank you so much for having me on, Ryan. My name is Christopher Fazio. I'm a diehard Thor fan. You can find me on Instagram at FazGuardian. I've been a Thor cosplayer for a number of years, hit a bunch of the MCU looks at this point now. Got into the comics more recently and haven't been able to stop. Really, Donny Cates got me into it, and then I went back and I read The God Butcher. I went back and binged the entire new Avengers run with Jason Aaron, and now I'm stuck like the rest of you guys, waiting every month for the next one to come out.
Yeah.
We're gloriously stuck waiting weeks for the conclusions of these stories. It's almost like they designed them that way.
Somebody at the very end is they're like, oh, I got to keep going. Going. They know what they're doing. There's a
both
science
of the issues we're going to talk about today have very like, oh, what do we do now kind of endings. I wanted to tell you listeners, before we jump into the books, we're going to talk about Thor 22 today and Avengers 53. But one of the reasons I wanted Faz to join us today was because of what he mentioned there just a minute ago. He's a Thor cosplayer, and we used to be much more consistent with talking about cosplay and people who create their own looks based on comics or the MCU. Faz is one of those that I really wanted to get on the show because my estimation, he does a phenomenal job at bringing these looks to life. So I wanted him to talk maybe a little bit about maybe let's start here, Faz. Like, what got you into cosplay?
Let's see, what got me started? The show Arrow got me started. That's the best way to describe it. Yes. One of my good friends in university told me, I think you'd like this show. I watched the first couple episodes and hated it. And by the end of season 1, I was completely hooked forever.
Oh my goodness.
From there, I made my own Arrow suit, went to Fan Expo and met Stephen Amell there, who plays the Arrow. And from there, I was kind of hooked. So I made my own bow. I originally was more of an Iron Man guy, as anybody that was like 17, 18, grew up with the MCU was. And then as the MCU kept chugging along, I was gravitating more and more towards Thor. And once I made my first Thor suit, it was kind of off to the races from there. And I kept going ever since.
And then your Twitter, your Instagram handle is FazGuardian. So
FazGuardian, yeah.
I mean, a lot of your stuff is Thor. Like, I know you do Captain America really well. Also, and you still post stuff with your Green Arrow cosplays as well. Do you create your cosplays like from scratch, or do you kind of like piece them together with stuff you buy and then you kind of assemble it? How do your cosplays come together most of the time?
So it depends on the suit. The first one that I made mostly myself was the Infinity War Thor suit because it's
Ooh.
black. It's you can do it with foam in a way that looks really nice. So I put that together, and then I worked with a lot of really great makers who, like the guy who made my lights, name is Jolan Props, and he made the light up discs in my armor, that kind of stuff. I have a good buddy of mine who lives near me named Reed's Props Plus, and he painted my Stormbreaker. And I like my girlfriend made my cape, now my fiance girlfriend at the time. So she made the cape, and so that one was very. I
It's
bought
good to
a
have
few
her
pieces.
support as you guys go through
Oh,
life together. If
very
she's your
important.
teammate, yeah, that's
Yeah. But for that one, it was a lot of either buying pieces, going to thrift stores to grab pieces. The foam I used was just from the dollar store because I couldn't find any good foam where I was, and that's how I
Okay.
built the suit. Some of the more recent ones, I've taken one of the mass-produced cosplay company suits, like that's what I did with Dark World, and then I added my own discs and we weathered it up and worked on the cape a bunch. It depends on the piece. Some things are 3D
Yeah.
printed, yeah, but these days I more source all of my stuff from people who are much better at this than I am, and then I put it all
Okay.
together myself. Yeah.
So I'm curious because we had talked a while back, and I think you were you're recently engaged, right? Within the last few
Yeah.
months. So
It was July, I think. Yeah.
okay, wow, it's a lot longer ago than I thought. So I just want to say from the Across the Bifrost family, congratulations, man. That's exciting. I
Thank you very
wonder
much.
what was that like starting that dating thing like, hey, I got like there's a thing about my life that you got to understand. Like there's part of me that you need to like accept before we go a little further. Was there ever that conversation, or did she know about the cosplay, all the way?
It was honestly it was worse than that from her perspective. When we started dating, I wasn't really doing it very much. I had the one
Okay.
costume from meeting Stephen Amell, and because I had there was a file released for the Infinity War Thor to make easily out of foam, and I was like, I can make this for Halloween. That's how it started. We were dating at the time. That's why she helped with the cape. She had no idea it would turn into something as big as this was, and she's been
she
very gracious and
she thought it
helpful.
was just a Halloween thing. You're like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like a
Well,
fun one-time thing. Yeah.
I'll share. I actually did a wedding at a Comic-Con, and we all did it in cosplay. It was like the
Oh,
X-Men and all kinds of stuff. And we did it at the cosplay kind of contest, did a wedding, and I did it. And then people asked me, like, really, you did a wedding at a Comic-Con? I was like, yeah. I was like, aren't all weddings cosplay? We're all
we don't
playing
dress
up.
like that all
I
the
don't
time.
dress in a tux, every day. And she doesn't wear a wedding dress every day. Every wedding's cosplay. So dress up, have fun, and why not do it at a Comic-Con? So you should do talk to your
That
fiance. I'm
that
not
is
saying she will
fantastic.
out,
Yeah.
but do it. Try to find a Comic-Con and land it there.
I think the extent for me will be maybe some Thor socks and some cufflinks that I have that are Mjolnirs.
Yeah, you
That
little
a nice little special touch to it. Yeah.
little Easter eggs that only you know about. That's cool. That's cool.
Right? Yeah, they'll be like, they don't know, but I know that it made it into the wedding.
Mhm.
Will, I'm very curious. Who did you cosplay as when you officiated this wedding?
Oh, I just wore like I dressed up. So we're Lutheran, so we're barely church. So I had the robes and all the night. So I put on like a big like chasuble that the Catholics will put on when they're doing communion. So I found somebody's chasuble and had like a big like phoenix symbol on the front of it.
Oh
And what
my
is in that religion?
gosh.
So it was like it's kind of like resurrection phoenix kind of symbol. So I wore that. And my favorite moment from that night, we did it. They were dressed up. She was I think he was Gambit, she was Rogue, and they had their whole the whole family was dressed up. And then there was a couple people out in the audience, and I saw I saw in the distance in kind of the audience was someone dressed up as a stormtrooper. I don't know if they were from the 501st or not, but walked up after the wedding and went, oh, nice homily, Pastor. And I was like, thanks. May the force be with you. And we walked away. And I was like, this is so fun. You cannot get better than that.
May the force be with you, and also
and also with you. That's what Lutherans will do. So yeah.
So I'm curious, Faz, just one more question about your cosplay before we jump into these two comics that we're here to digest. Are there any cosplays coming up that maybe like you've started or that you're really excited about? Like, you don't have to do like full spoiler here, but like you do a great job, and like I watch your Instagram like a hawk. So part of this is just I'm curious, but like for fans that enjoy cosplay, that want to check out your account, is there anything they can be looking forward to in the near future?
Well, I appreciate that very much, Ryan. I think the big one that's coming is Love and Thunder.
Ooh,
I've got a jacket en route being made right now. That'll be the one of the set photos has him in a kind of a red 80s style hard rock jacket with some pleats and
yes.
stuff. So that one's en route. It's going to say Faz Guardian on the back. It's going to be
Oh,
really nice, I think. And then I've got a new guy I'm working with. His name's SMP Designs, and he makes some insane stuff. And he'll be making me the battle armor that we've started getting leaks and photos of. So that one is what I'm most excited for sure.
ooh, that's
Now, will you debut that at like a Comic-Con this summer, you think? Like, when you do your cosplay, do they pay you to come in and be like, cool, like lead us, or do you just kind of show up and then win every contest? How does that work?
obviously both.
Yeah.
I haven't guessed it yet. I have done some competitions because I'm not making this one. I won't want to enter because that's more for people who've put the blood, sweat, and tears in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I will be debuting it at a con if they're open at the time. We'll have to see what things are like. Otherwise, I always get a really good photo shoots going with some of the great photographers around here, and then I'll get a bunch of edits done, and we'll see quite a lot of Thor content when that comes out.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome.
And we will share all of it on our Instagram channel. Actually, I neglected to ask you this at the beginning. Where in the Nine Realms do you call home, Faz?
I think the best way to describe it would be Jotunheim, looking outside in the freezing rain and snow. I'm from Canada. I live in Ontario. It's not as cold as everybody thinks it is, but this time of year, it is as cold as everybody thinks it is.
You know what, man? There's times where I live in Nebraska. There's some times where people be like, "It's not that cold out there." I'm like, "You should come and visit. You should come and visit." So, what is the Toronto con scene like? Or the Ontario con scene like? I imagine it's pretty good, right? Or am I wrong there?
It definitely is. There's a lot of little cons around in each little city around here, and we have a really big one called Fan Expo Canada that happens every August, and that one is the one where all the big stars come in, all the big comic book writers come in, and they try to get as many people as possible there. So I think as far as Canada goes, that one's probably the biggest one. I think they say it's like one of the biggest 5 cons in terms of number of people that go.
Wow.
And it's a crazy experience, right? Like there's vendors everywhere. There's a whole bunch of art. There's so many great celebrities. You guys know how it is. It's just a absolutely great time.
One day again, we will do it.
Someday, hopefully in the not too distant future.
Not too distant future. That'd be awesome.
Faz, thank you for sharing your cosplay journey and kind of just some of the things that fans can be looking forward to. That battle armor is going to be sick. I'm really excited to see you debut that one. And speaking of some Thor related battles, we've got a heck of an issue to talk about today. Thor.
Yeah, there's a final page that I want to see you cosplay at some point.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this whole issue is just chock full of great stuff. Especially that last page that Will's referring to, which we will I'm sure talk about at length. This is the 4th part of the God of Hammers story. We have one more issue after this to conclude the God of Hammers story arc, and then Will and I talked about this last time. The Thor Legacy 750 is 2 months away. That issue is going to be bonkers. There's going to be so many creators that we're going to come back and work on that book. There's going to be so many different stories. Maybe we'll get a Avengers, Avengers Forever. That Avengers, what was it, 500 or 7? It was the 750, wasn't it? Well,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it had a glued spine to it. Like maybe we'll get one of those for Thor. Who knows? But we are 2 issues away from that. This is part 4 of God of Hammers. It is written by Donny Cates, drawn by Nick Klein, It is colored by Matt Wilson and lettered by Joe Sabino. So very familiar creative team on this book. These four have been largely on this book for most of Donny Cates' run, with little adjustments here and there. But this issue continues Thor's conflict against the god of hammers, Mjolnir, who has been, needless to say, wreaking havoc throughout the 9 realms. And we come to a point in this storyline where a bunch of Earth heroes come to Asgard, and they're all going to help Thor against Mjolnir. Some insanity ensues. We learn some secrets and why certain things have happened in Donny Cates' run, how that relates to Thor, and how that relates to Odin, who is still hanging around. And we get some tragic news in this issue. I will say this before we get too deep into this: we will spoil some stuff. So if you want to read this, unspoiled, stop listening now and maybe come back after you've read the issue. But a lot happens towards the end. I'll maybe let the guys talk about that. But gentlemen, thoughts on this issue? It was so crazy. I know we were talking in that little group chat we have. There's just so much to dissect here. So let's maybe just pick a plot point and rip away at that for a while.
Yeah, and I think they're actually in Midgard, right? Because
Beta Ray
Bill, they
right, they're not in Asgard. What am I talking?
Yeah, but Beta Ray Bill comes in with Asgardians, and he's got this sword on his shoulder, and then the next page is this big splash page of his like call to arms assembling kind of speech that is unbelievable. But did either of you read Daniel Warren Johnson's miniseries with Beta Ray Bill?
I have not yet.
Oh my gosh, because he does everything. He draws it, he writes it, he colors it. He did everything for this book. And really, that's kind of a backstory of how Beta Ray Bill got this sword.
Okay.
And how he has, Stormbreaker's been destroyed. So he had to go find a new one. He's going to get, it's a real, I can't recommend that. And it's in a graphic novel now. You can pick it up at your local comic shop. It's unbelievably good.
Okay.
So that's kind of backdrop where he's coming from and why he's holding that particular sword and why it looks pretty awesome. And it's just, there's a reason why it's on fire and smoking. So read the book and you can figure out that. So yeah, he's the one who calls to arms all these heroes from Earth and Asgard. I have a question on the bottom page, that splash, bottom left. There's someone getting ready to mount like a giant purple cat. Who is that supposed to be? Is that
giant purple cat?
Yeah.
Would it be like Throg?
Oh my goodness!
No, the other side. Is that Frey? Is that?
I think it might be Freya. Frigga.
Okay.
Because
Frigga.
Yeah, I must have missed something. Why she's
mounting a big purple cat with green eyes, and that shows up a little bit later on. And it's out of that whole page, I'm like, oh, there's my favorite heroes. Look at that. Oh yeah, they're arming up. They're getting ready. And okay, there's a huge purple cat that someone's getting ready to mount.
Huge cat.
So that's pretty fun. So
yeah. Beta Ray Bill definitely makes a big entrance with all the Earth heroes, like.
And his speech, I'm like ready to jump in the fight. Like,
yeah.
His speech, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. I'll bring my weapon and do what I need to do.
And this has to be the coolest that Beta Ray Bill's ever looked too. Like with the sword on his shoulder, the armor just looks incredible.
I mean, he looks next level. The way he's drawn, I mean, he just looks like a dude you would not mess with. He's just yoked beyond belief. Yeah,
and in that miniseries, like he was down and out. He was like impotent, like literally. And so like there's a little Easter egg in that with the thing, but like he couldn't do like anything, and he was so rattled. And by the end of that story arc, you see why he is where he is now, and he's ready to go and got his mojo back. So pretty awesome. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, tying in one of my favorite storylines of the year into this Thor book. It's pretty smart.
We'll have to have you back on, Will, when we have a spare week where we're not talking about Jason Aaron and we're not talking about new comics. we'll talk about that Beta Ray Bill series. It is
Yeah,
on my radar, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson, he's a good follow too on Instagram and Twitter. His work is great. Yeah, I love his work. He's great.
The one of the after all the Earth heroes converge on this point where Thor is fighting the god of hammers, Thor watches all of his friends go down, and then he prays to his mother, to Gaia, and this giant earth cyclone comes out of nowhere and encompasses both of them. And I kind of want to jump to the part where we start learning details. We start learning a little bit about why what has been happening in Donny Cates's run is happening. Right. Because Thor has some cool panels where I love the one panel where he says the earth bends its knee to me, and he's just like he's going full on God mode, and lightning is crackling around him, but he starts learning some truths from Odin that there's a reason why the Midgard serpent showed back up. There's a reason why Donald Blake showed back up. There's a reason why the hammer was acting off, and it was because of Odin. It was because how do I say this, that Odin had not given all of the Odin force over to Thor. It's kind of in this weird transactional point. And Faz, maybe start with you here. Like, what about Odin's admission kind of stood out to you in the concluding pages of this book?
Well, I think it really spoke to how nicely they've been filling the whole idea of Odin not ready to let go yet, and how he's still wanting to be there. He's still wanting to be a part of it. He, like he says in the book, he just wants to see his wife one more time. Like he doesn't want to give up yet and move on to whatever his next plan is. And hearing that everything's going terribly for them as a direct result of Odin's mistakes is it's very Thor. That's how his whole upbringing has been. It's how his whole storylines always are. So it's a really nice homage to the past by Donnie there, while also bringing in a really new spin on it all.
I couldn't agree with you more. The line that Odin says to Thor as he's kind of they're using very small print to communicate a kind of a hushed tone, and almost like he's whispering to Thor. He says, Mjolnir is right. All of this, all the things I have made, they have come undone. All of them except you. You are the greatest thing I have ever made, Thor. And then he talks about how he's been selfish, withholding the Odin force from him entirely. And then two things happen in very quick succession. Odin passes the Odin force on to Thor, and Odin dies. Which is not like, I feel like that, like, yeah. Will just air quoted, but yes, we all know dying in comics doesn't matter. Death is
but it was pretty dramatic and pretty well done, and it was moving. If you even that cynical look of like nobody really dies in comics, they'll just come back again unless you're like Uncle Ben or something like that. But it's not over yet. Uncle Ben may come back. Who knows?
Gwen Stacy up until a few days.
Yeah. But like the drama of how the silent panels along with the art and the kinetic energy flowing through it is pretty moving, and along for the ride, and it's pretty powerful because of this tension that Odin and Thor have had for so long, and even build up them hunting down the hammer and trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, like Thor and Odin are ready to go to blows, and finally Odin's able to like really have a heart-to-heart and share what's going on, and it's that heart-to-heart that literally explodes his heart to give to Thor.
Yeah, it's as Odin passes, we see from the outside the point of view of the Earth heroes as they're watching these lights shine out from this Earth cyclone thing that Thor had created. And he says, Mjolnir, you have killed in my name, brought misery to my home. You have taken my father. Now we put the hammer down. And the last panel is so bonkers crazy, where we see Thor in golden Odin armor. It is nuts. He's got a big glowing sword. He's got some Kirby crackle out of his left hand. And just like, Faz, you need to do this. Like, this
Oh man. Super Saiyan bright gold Thor is
Super
it's gotta be the
Saiyan
dream
Thor,
of any
yes.
yeah. Do we know is that the Odin sword he's got with him, or is that something else?
I would imagine that is what that is.
Just an insane look for him.
Will, do you know anything about? Have you heard anything about if that's the Odin sword or not?
No, but it makes sense, in terms of being armed fully with. I mean, golly, I mean, I think Cates loves his swords, right? Like in other stories, he's done that, and so he's doing it again. And as a Star Wars fan, you have this guy with a iron fist or some force wielding hand along with a lightsaber in the other is pretty kick-ass. And and he's all doing this in that cyclone, like you said. And the other heroes who are there, I mean, pretty much the whole Marvel U is there on looking, just kind of watching to see. And that storm was created to protect them from what was going on in this final battle. So knowing that there's one issue left after this is pretty, it is, like you said, it's going to go down. And earlier in the book, I think Mjolnir was saying, like, well, when all you have is a hammer, quoting, that psychologist, everything's a nail. That was that saying goes. So he's like, all right, he, my God, whoever, like, all the heroes are there and they're like ready. All you look like nails. I'm gonna put it down. So Thor has the last word on the last page, and we'll see how the battle goes. We still, last time we talked about wants and hopes, and part of me really wants them to like have some reconciliation so he can get his hammer back, and that they can be on some kind of mutual terms of mutuality between the two. But we'll see. And finally, because the Donald Blake story didn't sit quite well. I mean, it was great. It was creative. It was something different, never done before. But knowing that there was something behind all that was manipulating it, and there's a deeper cause, that was a cool little callback. Hoping that happens here, and not that 750 has to reset everything, but I hope the next one has some resolve to it.
I mean, we're all. I would say the three of us are pretty informed Thor readers. What I think is so great about this is Odin's kind of deathbed speech to Thor proves that Donnie wasn't just throwing things at the wall the whole time.
Right.
And I think sometimes what modern comics get bashed for, maybe unnecessarily, is like, well, there's no like long form storytelling. Like, this is pretty great long form storytelling, because like, you may not have liked it, but it doesn't mean it wasn't good. Donnie is literally saying, yeah, all of these things happen for a reason. These are all things Odin made. And because Odin is no longer Allfather, that's why they're all turning on Thor. It makes sense. It's simple. It's simple, and it's been teased out for almost for 22 issues. And
it goes along with Jason Aaron's deconstructing Thor, making him unworthy and really taking apart what it means to be a god or not a god. Cates is doing that with Odin.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing. Yep.
And so one last question, because we were kind of talking about this, and Faz said the thing about Thor going Super Saiyan. Are we at a point where Thor is overpowered? Because there's also another parallel thought in the Avengers that he also might be the offspring of the Phoenix Force. Like, are we getting to a point where Thor is just overpowered?
I think they're gonna, like comics always do, just find a way to not depower him, but to not have him be full Golden Eagle, maybe Phoenix, super god of Super Saiyan Thunder here every time. Like in the Avengers comics, he's still got Mjolnir, so maybe this is before what's happening in Thor, or maybe it's after, if hopefully they, like you said, reconcile later. They're always really good about sidelining their top characters. In the Avengers, they had him turn into the monster a couple times back in space, right? So he couldn't just beat the crap out of everybody. I think this Thor all the time would be unfightable, but so was Harold Thor, super worthy Galactus Thor, right? And they brought him right back
Yeah. Yep.
afterwards.
I was gonna mention, yeah, when he had the power cosmic, it's like it's almost as if Donnie was sitting there thinking, like, okay, what are all the cosmic deities and powers that I can give him? And then, like, oh, Jason, you're going to give him the Phoenix Force? Oh, well, what we're going to do is we're going to give him the Odin Force, but in full. Like, it's like, how many power sets can we add to this guy who's already pretty powerful? Like, base level Thor is probably 10 times more powerful than most of Earth's heroes. So we're just,
as we saw in the last episode, like he smashed his arm to pieces trying to punch the hammer. And like as strong as he is, it didn't work. And then in this one, there's actually a couple panels where he resets his arm on his own, which was
great.
So good, so good.
But yeah, we're all better now.
We're all better now. Tie a tourniquet on it. We're ready to go, and keep moving. But yeah, they definitely tore him down and then to power him back up. It'll be curious to see what happens next if he gets really tired at the end. It's like, oh, I need a break, y'all. This is too much. I need to go back and get some mead with my fam.
always with the mead. So I wonder if, because now Thor has the Odin Force, if the hammer is just going to be forced to listen to him now. Because if it was the slow realization of Odin not being Allfather anymore that kind of disconnected everything, maybe Thor now fully having the Odin Force is going to slowly make things come together. That's just an idea thrown at the wall there. But before we leave this issue, any other things maybe moving forward, because we're 2 issues away from 750. The next issue of Thor is going to be the end of this story arc. Any maybe fantasy booking, anything we want to maybe see happen that you guys have thought about?
I still really want to see a big final fight. I agree with you that I think it would be great to end with Thor reaching his hand out and forcing Mjolnir to yield and it becoming under his control again. Maybe he can split up Mangog and just absolutely pummel him. That would be fun. Or even just knock him down enough, like knock is she the goddess of hammers now? The queen of the storm. I'm not sure what we're calling
all the above. I don't know.
Mother Thunder.
And the Mother of the Storm. Yeah, like if they can beat her into submission a bit, that'd be pretty cool. I really want them to resolve it so he's got the hammer again for the next stuff when he's fighting the Hulk and everything else.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we talked about last time, like, I can't imagine Thor fighting the Hulk without Mjolnir. It doesn't seem like it would fit. If you're going to do a 60th anniversary special that combines these 2 characters with very, very iconic legacies, you wouldn't have Thor with his most iconic object. So hopefully you're right, Faz, and we get reconciliation on some level at the end. We still want to see a fight, of course. Will, you got any predictions moving forward as we march closer to 750?
Yeah, I mean, Cates is writing Hulk too, right?
Yes, he is.
Like, yeah, so you have him doing both these characters together. Crossover is pretty fun, and that came out this week as well. The newest issue. I haven't read that one yet, so
I have not read that either. So
yeah, but it's there on my stack. But I do like. I love it when these books pull in the other characters for the MCU, and you see the bigger picture. And so, and Kate just captures each voice like they're supposed to be. I mean, Reed Richards sounds like Reed Richards. Cap sounds like Cap. Even like Spider-Man's like, guys, hey, the Hammer Lady, Hammer Lady's doing something, and it's Parker, man. It's Parker all in all. And so,
oh my gosh,
Tony Stark trying to do his thing. So all of it, it just flows so well. So it's pretty epic comic. Like, it's pretty earlier in the year, but this is up there as one of my favorite comics so far. And I'd be surprised at the end of the year, because it's a nice, concise 5-part story arc that's been really good, beautiful, that it's going to be hard to beat, as the year goes on, I think.
I agree. Speaking of issues that are really hard to beat, Avengers 53. I believe it's the 3rd part of the Death Hunters story.
It is.
Third part of the Death Hunter story, where Will, you have a kind of a better grasp on like the overall implications of this story. So maybe could you just like bring us up to speed of like who the Death Hunters are and why like why they're bothering the Avengers?
Well, these are seeds that Aaron planted way back when he rebooted the Avengers with a #1 with these prehistoric Avengers, 1000 BC Avengers, where you have like Odin and the Phoenix Force and a Ghost Rider and a Sorcerer Supreme, and they're all there. These kind of like deity-like eternal forces that have been around a long time or become Avengers, and they fight off a celestial and save Earth and let Earth have its natural progression and evolution. And was looping back around after issue 750. We're now 753. I have no idea how long this story arc is going to be. It says part 3, so I don't know if there's 3 more issues or 2 more issues or what.
Okay.
But we're kind of in the midst of the battle of this kind of multiverse villains, led by a multiverse version of Evil Doom, and he's like the evilest of evil dooms. If you thought Earth Doom 616 is evil, then you have like the multiverse version of the most evil Doom you could have.
Doom Supreme. Yeah.
Doom Supreme, and then you get these allusions to Avengers Prime and this who's taking over who. So the Earth Avengers, Earth's mind here is caught between this kind of cosmic multiverse battle of these villains and Avenger Prime, who's behind the scenes, hopefully sending the Deathlocks into there to help save Earth or protect Earth from way back when. So here's another issue where not all of the Avengers kind of split up in different teams. They don't all show up here. So now the one who are on Avengers Mountain, Celestial Mountain, are here. And those who saw Eternals, the movie, ended with a celestial kind of popping up out of the sea or out of the mountains. That's pretty much what the Avengers have been living out of, for a good while and good run with Jason Aaron's run. And you get to the end where, wow, you just set it up in the MCU, where sitting out there, you could use it in movies. And the last page, again, spoilers, Jason Aaron blows it up before you get too comfortable with the big screen. But this has some cool stuff. You get Kid Thanos, Valkyrie. I mean, Jason Aaron gets to play with Valkyrie and Jane Foster again. So that's really the kind of the hook there for a Thor podcast, is you get Jane Foster as Valkyrie coming back and him getting to play with her and her voice a little bit.
I think so. Just kind of the premise of this issue is very simple. It continues the narrative of as Will brought us up to speed here. It continues the narrative of these death hunters, these multiverse masters of evil, tracking down the Deathlocks throughout the multiverse. And a Deathlock has come to T'Challa in Avengers Mountain and basically says like, hey, they're coming. And like the 2 worst ones yet are coming towards Avengers Mountain. We get Kid Thanos, who is a freak. Some of his lines where he's like a kid in junior high that is way too excited to dissect frogs. That's his vibe. Like, he's just creepy. And he's got just a sick sense of humor about him. It's outright said that he dissected his own mother to find out like what were the people of Titan for? They were for me. They were for me to figure out, how things work. Such a sick freak.
Doesn't he say that for everything he dissects too? Like, everything exists for me to learn so I can better them. Like,
And honestly, this was of the recent Avengers issues we've reviewed and we've looked at, this one felt the most Jason Aaron to me, because of the voice that he gives Kid Thanos. Where it's like what Will mentioned, it's the deconstruction of things, and Kid Thanos is saying, I exist to deconstruct things. So I thought his voice was very good. And then you get the Doom Supreme, who is they call him a necromancer. There's also a title he gets in here. He is the Doom above all, which I thought was I got goosebumps saying that. But 2 great villains, 2 villains that we are very easily hating. They commence this attack on Avengers Mountain, and we got kind of a skeleton crew there. T'Challa is the only real Avenger back at Mountain, because everybody else is off fighting the Death Hunters in other parts like Asgard. Cap and Captain Marvel fought, Death Hunters in Kansas with Starbrand last issue. But now the fight has come to Avengers Mountain, and T'Challa is he is kind of forced to recruit 2 non-avenging members, Namor the Submariner and our girl Jane Foster, the current Valkyrie, and her fabulous horse, who is so funny. But Jane is in this book. Jason Aaron gets to write Jane again, which I thought was so awesome. What did you guys think of her inclusion in this story? Because she's not an Avenger. I just thought it was cool to see her show up here. Faz, did you have any thoughts about Jane showing up in this issue?
Well, the overriding thought is just, oh my God, what Doom did to Jane. That was like the whole fight about, you're just a necromancer, you're the mother of Valkyries, I can beat you. No, I'm the master of death. That was
go ahead, man. Fill in everybody of what Doom does to Jane.
So
it's twisted.
Jane's ready to fight him, and he essentially absorbs her her cure from cancer, the fact that she's fine again, out of her, and she goes right back into her fully dying of cancer form, and he leaves her there to die essentially. And if not for Jane's horse, he probably kills her.
Yep.
It's just dark and very Doom.
Doom says to her, at that moment that Faz just mentioned, your cancer hears the call of Doom, Jane Foster, and longs to cast aside the chains of remission. And then you see Jane whisper, no, not again.
Mm-hmm.
So then her horse sticks up for her, and she's repowered by the all weapon, which is her device that she uses to fight. And that's kind of all of what we see of Jane. But then we see 2 other characters, Namor and the Red Panther.
Yep.
Fight against Doom and Kid Thanos. Namor squares off with Kid Thanos, and they have a great back and forth where all Kid Thanos wants to do is kidnap Namor and dissect him, see what the inside of an Atlantean looks like, which again, super creepy. But he doesn't get his wish because Namor is too stubborn to die. I find that so funny about Namor. Namor is probably the grumpiest guy in the Marvel universe, and he gives off this vibe of like he would not be fun at a party. Like Namor would not be fun at a party. He would just be like, well, everyone stop being so loud and smiling so much.
Right. Or he thinks he's the coolest person in the room, yet he's the only one wearing like a Speedo.
Yeah, yes.
Like you just showed up to like a black tie dinner in a Speedo, and you think you're the coolest person in the room. I guess this is the vibe he puts off.
He walks in with a BMF walk.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, then, but it's that kind of tenacity that really kind of sets thing. And I try to keep reading this page over and again, like how we get Red Panther, like he's downloading something from Avengers Mountain into him, and they're like these computer things that are kind of telling him what half these words I can't even pronounce, but but yeah, he's downloaded with something. He upgraded and he's now like glowing red, going after Doom, and he needs to power up too, right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
To survive this one.
I loved the Red Panther design. It's subtly different, but he's got a kind of a reddish black suit, and his fists are wrapped with these Wakandan stones on them. And they almost look like spiked boxing gloves.
Right.
I mean, the guy, he's completely badass. Like, and that's even on top of how like just base Black Panther is badass. Like he takes that next level. And then we come to the conclusion where Doom and Kid Thanos, they steal Deathlock, don't they? I might have missed that, or do they kill Deathlock altogether?
I think they're just about to kill Deathlock, right? But then something crazy happens instead, right at the end.
Yeah. So Doom and Kid Thanos just obliterate Mountain. I keep wanting to say mansion. They obliterate Avengers Mountain, and the last page is the body of the Celestial just erupting in flames and explosions. And Black Panther tried to warn them, like, "Hey, get out as quick as possible," but we don't see any of them get out. Yeah, that's where we're left. It's to be continued as Avengers Mountain erupts. So, what are kind of our final thoughts about Avengers, and then we'll wrap up our discussion about new comics.
Well, for one, I think like Jason Aaron has been killing this run, like through all 53 comics so far. Like he's kept it interesting the whole time. He's kept a really nice narrative through line throughout the whole thing, and each new thread gets cooler and cooler and cooler as he goes.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know I don't know how much longer he's going to be on this, but it does seem like he's ramping it up a notch. Like there's some big finale, and so part of me's wonder if there's going to be another reboot, if they're going to do something else, or if he's going to stay on it. Because is he doing Punisher #1? Is he doing the new Punisher? Is he doing it, or he
yes. So, from my understanding, the new Punisher series that he's doing is a limited series.
Okay.
But it's a long, I think it's a long limited series. It's like 11 issues.
Yeah.
Which feels odd for a limited series.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a weird number.
It's not like he can't juggle more than one book. He's seen him do it before, but this feels like it's heading somewhere to some big climax, because the Avengers have all been spread out doing their own battles, and of course they're going to all come together and assemble together and do the final battle. But the ramifications of that, I have no idea what's going to happen. Who's going to stick around? What multiverse villain's going to hang around or not? But yeah, it seems like it's built to some big ramifications that may last a while.
We got to figure out who Avenger Prime is.
Yep.
Who is Avenger Prime? I had a prediction on last episode that maybe Avenger Prime ends up being Starbrand. Just an idea. I have no idea. When Jason and I talk, we don't really talk about work.
Right.
There's just certain things he can't tell me. Watch, if he ever listens to the show, that'll be the one thing he hears and be like, "Not this guy."
Not this guy. Nah, he's like, "Oh, I want to get on there and tell him a few things." Yep.
Just as long as you're here, you can tell me whatever. You can tell me to, I don't know, get lost and just tell it to my face. So Avengers 53 ends in a rather explosive way. Thor 22 ended with a big cliffhanger. Like Will said, we feel like in both we're headed towards something big. So in the next few months, it wouldn't surprise me like the 750 for Thor is going to be nuts. We don't know where the Death Hunters story is going to end, but needless to say, it's not going to de-escalate anytime soon. Right. So can't wait to see where these stories finish up. As we finish up our story, the three of us, our story today here on the show, I wanted to just give the guys a chance to plug their social stuff and what where you can find them if you want to reach out to them, and then we'll wrap this gift up, send it to you guys in your podcast feed, and we'll see you the next time we're on the Bifrost. Faz, you want to go first since you are our new guest?
Sure. The best place to find me is Fazgardian on Instagram. That's FAZGARDIAN. I'm really responsive there. So if you ever have any questions, you just want to talk about something, I'm always around to chat. I always like to see other cosplayers too. So any Marvel people out there, DC, anything really, show it off. I'm happy to see it. And yeah, thanks so much for having me today, guys.
You are most welcome. Thank you for joining us. Will, what about you, man? Where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on the social medias as well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hit me up. I'm also help co-host Systematic Ecology, where we kind of talk about the intersection of faith and pop culture. If you have any topics or questions and things, open to all kinds of questions. If you have a hot take on a geek genre or Star Wars or anything, let me know. Love to have those conversations.
Recently, Systematic Ecology talked about, Pokemon, Lord of the Rings, I just got done listening to the Legends Arceus episode today, the new Pokemon game. It was phenomenal. So check out that show. Check out Faz on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time that we join you, I just give you one recommendation. If you would check out our Patreon site. Will is actually a Patreon member. Will, have you been able to check out any of the bonus material yet?
Yeah. Pull it right up.
Awesome. We got new stuff coming up. I've actually got some I've got a series that I'm going to start doing on Patreon that I'll announce right here just real quick. I am starting to write little short stories, the Untold Tales of Asgard. So I'm going to add my own little spin on some stuff and exercise the writing muscles. So I hope you enjoy that. Check out our Patreon link in the episode description. That'd be a great way to support the show and also get some bonus content for a few dollars a month. You can join the Thor Corps. That'd be a great thing to do. But until we see you next time aboard the Rainbow Bridge, I encourage you, dear friends, listeners of the podcast, to stay worthy.